Welcome to Movies, Music, etc., where we break down all your favorite movies, music, and well, etc. I'm your host, Kay Sands, and this is The Breakdown. If you're like me and at one point in time thought to yourself, could I really survive a zombie apocalypse? And what kind would it be? Would it be on easy mode where they're slow moving like in The Walking Dead or The Night of the Living Dead? Or hard mode like when Zack Snyder remade George R. Romero's Dawn of the Dead, when they're all laced up in running shoes and really scooting? But then they have hardcore mode, and these bastards are like Olympic athletes and they're going for gold. That's right. We're looking at the 2013 blockbuster that really asks the important question: what if a zombie apocalypse could be solved by Brad Pitt drinking an ice cold Pepsi? Yep, that's right. We're talking about World War Z. I'll be the first to tell you that my two favorite genre of movies are disaster and horror. Yeah, zombie movies are like Hannah Montana and give you the best of both worlds. And George A. Romero is universally credited for being the inventor of the modern zombie genre. With his 1968 masterpiece, Night of the Living Dead, he single handedly revolutionized the folklore by introducing the concept of reanimated, flesh eating corpses that operate on a contagious worldwide scale. Sadly, we lost him in 2017, and he will be truly missed. Now, before we get into the meat of things, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, which is Max Brooks' incredible 2006 novel of the same name. If you've read the book, you know that it's a phenomenal, slow burn, geopolitical oral history of humanity's war against traditional, slow moving, Romero style scramblers. It's grounded and it's brilliant. While Max Brooks even said in an interview that he wasn't going for realism and he had things like zombies crossing massive bodies of water by walking on the floor of them, he was very outspoken about how much he hated what they did to his book. But with a budget of 190 million and making 540 million, movie studios just don't care what he thought. So the movie, well, the movie legally purchased the rights to the title, slapped it on a poster, and then chucked the actual book into a wood chipper. Seriously, the only thing they share is the title and the word zombie, and that's it. The movie is basically just Brad Pitt running from a tsunami of CGI track stars for 2 hours. The zombies in the book are slow, rotting, and methodical. The zombies in the movie look like they just chugged 3 cans of Red Bull, discovered parkour, and heard that there was a sale at Lululemon. But hey, action movies are fun, so let's just get into it. We start in Philadelphia with our main guy, Jerry Lane, played by Brad Pitt. Jerry's a retired UN investigator who gives us the typical horror movie trope where everything starts out well and then just rapidly goes horribly wrong. He starts off with him making me look like a bad father and is making pancakes for his wife Karen and his 2 children. They have the news on in the background talking about martial law, so we know shit's about to hit the fan.
Daddy, what's martial law?
Uh,
Why does Marshall get to make all the laws? Like, what the hell does he know? They get stuck in some brutal morning traffic, which is annoying, but then the garbage truck plows through the streets like a freight train, which is slightly more annoying. I'm like, come on, how did no one see that coming? Kind of like how every parent that watched this movie instantly started seeing red when that damn kid kept screaming for a blanket.
Hey, Joe, baby, you gotta get back in your seat.
Great, get your belt back on.
Damn it, Grace, you should have listened. Suddenly, people are running, screaming, and fighting each other. For real, this scene was so great. People getting ran down like they were in a scene that we wish we had in The Lion King. Jerry watches a guy get bit and literally counts as the guy turns into a full-blown rabid track star zombie in exactly 12 seconds. It's clever to even think about this with everything going on, so good on you, Jerry. Then, thank God for rednecks coming to the city so Jerry can steal the RV, which of course he does. And the family flees to New Jersey. They hit up a supermarket to get some asthma medication for the kid. And again, it's how most horror movies work. The kid always has to have an issue. And then we get the classic apocalyptic trope of a cop showing up, but not to arrest the looters, but to just get some baked beans for themselves. Jerry's family ends up taking shelter in an apartment complex with a nice family who unfortunately refuses to leave with them. The only one who joins the pit crew is the young son Thomas, but that's after his parents get chomped. Jerry gets his family to the roof, fights off a few zombies with a rifle and a flare. And in the process, he gets a little zombie juice in his mouth. Yeah, dude, that's friggin' gross. Jerry stands on the end of the building to make sure if he turns, he can jump, because Creed was wrong, and that's a lot more than just 6 feet from the edge. They get rescued by a UN helicopter sent by his old boss, Terry. That's not going to be confusing at all. Jerry, Terry. Good luck reading this script. Fun fact about this scene, Brad Pitt actually did a lot of his own stunts, which is impressive until you remember that his superpower in this movie is just intensely jogging away from things. They get taken to a safe zone on a massive U.S. Navy ship, but there's a catch. Terry tells Jerry he can only keep his family there on the safe ship if Jerry goes back into the field and tries to find the origin of the virus. Jerry says yes because the alternative is getting kicked off the boat into a world entirely populated by aggressive nibblers. Jerry teams up with a young, brilliant virologist named Dr. Fastbot, and they fly to South Korea to check out an outbreak at a military base. Now, if you were going to give out an awards for the most absolutely dumbest death in a horror movie, Fastbot gets the gold. They land in the rain, zombies attacks, and this genius scientist, the supposed savior of humanity, for real, don't give that man a weapon.
Keep your finger off the trigger.
Okay, at least tell him to tie his shoes. Ah, shit. Good job, Doc. Humanity's fate was literally in the hands of a guy who can't walk down a ramp without self-deleting himself. While at the base, Jerry meets former CIA operative who was locked up for selling guns to North Korea. He tells Jerry that Israel somehow knew that zombies were coming and built a massive wall to keep them out. Fun fact, the nuke that you see while they're on their way there is real footage from the Baker test, the historic 1946 underwater detonation by the United States at Bikini Atoll. So off to Jerusalem. Jerry meets Jorgen Warnburn, who explains that they intercepted communications about the dead coming back to life and actually took it seriously. Something about the whole 10-man doctrine. Which, holy crap, even entertaining the idea, I get it. Like, who would have been around me like, yeah, this seems real? Unless they're the ones who started it. Just kidding. Max Brooks even said it was China, but good job getting that wall built in a timely manner. Jerusalem is a walled-off safe haven, and it's going great. Until the people inside start singing over a loudspeaker, the zombies outside hear those thick beats, get whipped into a frenzy and start piling on top of each other to scale the wall, because there's no other party in the club, and this one blows my mind.
Go, 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 go.
This zombie ant ladder scene is entirely CGI. It was actually pretty groundbreaking for its time, using crowd simulation software that made the zombies act like a swarm of angry insects rather than individual people. It's terrifying, but also, maybe just turn down the music. I'm like, for real. Holy shit, there's nowhere to go. Chaos erupts. Jerry and his new bodyguard Segan start running through the city when Segan gets bit on the arm. Oh well, I guess she's... Holy shit, how'd you know that would work?
I didn't.
Dick move, Brad, but I guess thanks. They barely escape by hopping onto a commercial Belarus Airways flight. And things are peaceful for about 5 seconds before a zombie pops out of the closet in the back of the plane. They try to wall up a walkway while doing their best Elmer Fudd impression.
Be very, very quiet.
But nope. Like the Holy Roman Empire, it all falls down. The infection spreads, and Jerry makes the complete rational decision to pull the pin on a fragmentation grenade inside of a pressurized cabin at 30,000 feet. The plane blows open, zombies fly out like confetti, and the plane crashes. Because, yeah, duh. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see the whole grenade thing coming. Jerry and Segan miraculously survive, and they casually walk to the World Health Organization facility in Wales. Jerry realizes the zombies completely ignore people who are terminally ill because the virus needs a healthy host, and zombies clearly have PhDs. Might as well make nurses out of them. There's a shortage, you know. He figures if they inject themselves with a deadly but curable pathogen, the zombies will think that they're dead meat and leave them alone. And this brings me to the part of the movie that I had a problem with. He showed him the vault that had the viruses that he needed, but didn't explain on the side of the room they were on. Seems like a very important part of the plan-making process. Anyways, I digress. For your next fun fact, this guy, who plays the World Health Organization doctor, is played by Peter Caberty, who's credited in the movie as the Who Doctor. Then 2 months after this movie was released, he announced that he was going to be the next Doctor Who.
Who?
This guy.
What?
The show is called Doctor Who.
Okay!
Thanks, Jen. The director knew this, so he wanted to throw in a little Easter egg, and that one's for all you nerds out there. Now time for the biggest behind-the-scenes facts of the movie. This entire third act in Wales, it didn't exist in the original cut. The original ending had Jerry going to Russia, being forced into a brutal military unit, and fighting in a massive bloody battle of Moscow using melee weapons. He basically became an ultimate zombie-killing gladiator, and Matthew Fox from Lost was going to be the bad guy who actually stole his wife. The studio realized that this was way too dark and totally out of character for Jerry. So they brought in writer Damien Lindelof and completely scrapped the entire third act and wrote in the intense, quiet stealth mission ending that we got instead. It costed millions of dollars in reshoots and honestly, probably saved the movie. So, in the new ending, Jerry sneaks through the infested Who lab, gets in the vault, and injects himself with a random deadly virus. He walks out and the zombies part him like he says. Grabs a can of Pepsi from the vending machine and drinks it and casually strolls past the horde. It's the blatant product placement I've ever seen, but honestly, I respect the hustle. Jerry reunites with his family in the safe zone. Humanity starts using the camouflage vaccines to fight back, and the movie ends on a hopeful note, teasing a sequel that David Fincher was supposed to direct, but we absolutely haven't got. As of late, there's been a bunch of buzz about an actual World War Z 2 coming out. It's all over the air, but we're not sure. But it's supposed to just take place exactly after this one. And that's it for World War Z, a movie that proves that even the apocalypse, it pays to have good cardio and a sponsorship deal with a major soda company. Keep surviving out there, and I'll see you in the next one.